Was there ever a case where maybe others would sort of tread on another person's district just to make up numbers? I assume there was probably some sort of infighting amongst
Yeah,
commanders or something.
I can imagine that happens. I can imagine that happens. I know that there were some what they describe as nefarious tactics
Yeah,
try to get people. Not necessarily this example is a Sikh's example, but there were occasions where I noticed from a newspaper where that they'd even go after women to say if you don't persuade your husband or your son to join, they'll go missing. And it was often the people be kidnapped and stuff like that. There were a couple of examples which I found of that where people expected other people to go missing because they would their sons had gone missing, so they wouldn't get recruited.
that is
So there were
brutal.
some tactics being used, definitely.
And why do you think there's sort of a lack of acknowledgement for the role that Sikhs played in the British actually winning the World War or the First World War?
Mm, I think again it's probably quite nuanced. I think I mean historically, as I said, I didn't know nothing about it, and I thought I was
Yeah, yeah,
interested in the
exactly.
subject. And I think that generally the victors write the stories, and the victors will like to write
Yeah,
about
war is always
themselves.
won by the winners, isn't it? Or the
Yeah,
winners write history, or whichever the phrase or
yeah.
saying goes.
I think in the Indian and Sikh soldiers particular example, the British forgot them because they were effectively they ruled them. And
Hmm.
India forgot them because, in their views, the historians' views maybe that they were fighting for the imperial power and not for India. And so we're not really going to write about them.
But
I
we
think,
still knew about World War Two compared to World War One, and even in World
yeah,
War Two, they were
true.
still fighting for the British, weren't they?
Yeah, true. I think the World War II thing is that there's people still alive, and it was in living memory.
Ah,
And
right, got it.
whereas, and obviously we've had independence since then.
Hmm.
But during after the First World War, we still weren't independent. So
Yeah.
I don't think people started writing about it because basically they didn't know too much about it. I think, or
Yeah.
they felt that they weren't worth writing about at the time.
Or they were not freely able to because
Yeah,
they can't. And then
yeah,
only after independence were they then able to express their actual genuine
yeah.
opinions.
That's probably more correct. I think nowadays there's a lot more push in this country, at least, to acknowledge the role that Sikh soldiers and Indian soldiers played in World War One, especially
I
during
think
the
it's good
17
and
war.
I think it's necessary. I mean,
Mm,
that was acknowledged by the statue that's been put outside Smethwick Gurdwara in
yeah,
Birmingham.
yeah,
So that's sort of a mark towards it saying this definitely happened. But
mm,
I always thought that statue was because of World War Two, not World War One.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure if it is a mix of both or like a commemoration to both of them. I'll need to go there and obviously
No,
look.
yeah. No, I need to do the same. It's very. I've seen pictures. It's a very nice statue, definitely.
It is, it is.
Mm.
So why do you think it's not taught freely in schools about like just the colonial reign? I know it sort of loosely ties to this, but
Yeah.
the colonial reign isn't really acknowledged with how far-reaching it went. Because as you
Mm,
mentioned, people would flee India. Well, Sikhs tried to flee India to go to other British ruling states because they didn't like how the state of affairs had become.
mm,
So it just makes you think colonialism was such a big thing. Obviously, people used to rave about how great the British were in terms of ruling the waves and whatnot,
mm.
and just more understanding and sort of acknowledgement towards that, I think would be great for the
Yeah.
British people to know because
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't know. I found out myself by luck when I went to university that all these things happened, and that's when I'm pretty much close to being a fully fledged adult.
Mm. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think I looked at my son, obviously has done, history at a certain level.
Yeah,
And, he at A level they did, some I felt some obscure stuff, which I didn't know really know too much about. And I was thinking, well, actually, why are you not taught anything about colonial history? And
mm,
it's just something they don't do. And as far as I'm aware, I mean, the history that I've done at my school, we never did anything. We may have mentioned the British Raj and something like that, but it was never going into any detail.
I had no mention of the British Raj at all. I mean, obviously, there's an age gap between me and you, so you may have heard brief parts of it. I don't remember hearing anything about it. All I
Uh,
remember hearing was just World War One and World War Two. Britain won, yay. Britain came to France's aid, yay. And that's it. That's pretty
yeah,
much all the big flashpoints I have. I
yeah,
have and you hear a lot about Hitler and Stalin.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that it's the colonial experience that actually binds us all together. So if you
Yeah.
go to a school now in most major cities, the majority of the countries of origin of maybe the parents of the children are all something to do with the British Empire. And
Yeah.
actually, if you taught that and you showed people where these connections come from, you'd understand that. People would have a better understanding of each other.
Yeah.
And you get on a bit better.
No,
One of the ones that always, if I could tell a quick story, one of my West Indian friends was always talking to me about his goat curry when I was in my 20s, and I was like, okay,
yeah.
goat curry, yeah, okay. Just to me, it didn't mean anything. But when one day I ate around his house, and I ate it, and I was like, well, hold on, no, this is Indian. He goes, no, it's from Jamaica or Trinidad. I said, no, this
Yeah.
is Indian. I know what Indian food tastes like. It's Indian. And then when you read about it, the connections are all there. If you go to Trinidad, there's lots of Indian people. Go to Guyana, lots of Indian people. Because after slavery, a lot of Indian people, exited or left India on a system called indentured labor. And
Right.
effectively, it was slavery in another name. Obviously, nothing as bad as slavery, but they had to pay their way. And when they got there, they realized they couldn't pay their way back. So effectively, they worked there for the British, and and their generations are still there now. And that's
And it's
how all these
crazy how
mixtures.
things like that are happening at the moment with obviously the stadiums being built in Dubai, sorry, not in
Mm,
Dubai, in Qatar for the World Cup.
mm,
Similar kind of tactics. So you pay to go there,
yeah,
you get there, they take your passports away, and then you've got to pay to get them back, but you never can. You're
yeah,
sort of stuck.
yeah. And countries all over the world. You've got an Indian influence or an Indian people. A lot of it, not every single country, but a lot of it will be from the Exodus during the period of the Raj, through whatever
Mm.
means, whether they wanted to go, whether they went for jobs, or whether they went through indentured labor. That's where it came from. That's where those people came from. One of the other things I wanted to mention was that although those people that left in that period, some of them actually went on to fight for those countries that they in the First World War, the countries that they emigrated to. So there were
Right.
examples of Canadian Sikhs who had left during that period, who then joined the Canadian army and fought in the Great War. Similar, there's quite a few
Mm.
Australians. Now, Sikhs you would not have thought. I mean, I didn't know. There's been Sikh people in Australia since 1860, 1870.
I
A
would
long,
never have
long
thought
time.
that.
No, and many, quite a few. Well, when I say a few, it's only a handful, but they joined the Australian army, and fought in the Great War.